First is we must emulate Joseph's integrity. Emulate Joseph's integrity. Now, in last week's sermon, we saw Joseph was envied by his brothers who sold him into slavery. And the slave traders take him to Egypt where Potiphar, the captain of Pharaoh's guards, buys him. Joseph advances in Potiphar's house very, very quickly. But the important thing is why. We find the reason in phrases like this. The Lord was with Joseph, and the Lord caused all that he did to succeed in his hands. And as a result, I want you to pay attention and look at what happened in verse 5 of chapter 39. Look at what it says. From the time that he put him in charge of his household and of all that he owned, watch this, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house because of Joseph. See, Potiphar simply observes Joseph, and he discovers that he is an honest man, that he is a hardworking man, just by looking at him. Just by seeing and observing how he conducted himself, how he behaved, how he acted. Therefore, he trusts Joseph enough to place everything that he owns under his authority. Doesn't even know what he has, except for the food that he eats. However, Joseph's advancement also results from the fact that I don't believe that Joseph was just going around acting holier than thou either, even though he was working for a pagan. See, because of Joseph, the Lord's blessings are all on Pharaoh's possessions. Joseph is an example of how God expects every believer, every Christian believer, every born-again believer to work, even in circumstances that are far from ideal. Can I tell you something? Even if you don't like the job that you're on, you ought to do it as unto the Lord. Even when working for an unbeliever, people that may put you up under very hard task and hard labor, we need to remember this command that the Apostle Paul teaches us in the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 23. Whatever you do, do it from the heart as something done for the Lord, not for people. This means, I know I'm going to get after you. I know some of y'all are not going to like me today, but that's okay. I'm not preaching anyhow. This means that Christians should never goof off at work, should never come in late to work, should never leave early from work when you're still on the clock, should never take longer than allotted breaks or longer than your hour lunch or your half-hour lunch. Because working in a place where there is vulgarity or favoritism doesn't excuse us from following Joseph's example. Joseph is very successful. He's a very successful business manager. He's a very successful accountant and CFO, all rolled into one. And if that wasn't enough, look at what else we discover in Genesis chapter 39, verse 6. Look at what it says. He left all that he owned under Joseph's authority. He did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Watch this. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. I mean, if that wasn't enough, he throws in the fact that he was good looking. In our context, maybe some of you would say he was tall, dark, and handsome, huh? Yeah, he took care of his business and he was good looking. And as always, with great success and good looks comes great temptation. Let me say that one more time. With great success and good looks always comes great temptation. But I believe that God has given us the ability and the formula here to fight temptation. And to fight temptation, we must first emulate Joseph's integrity. Somebody say integrity. Come on, say it one more time. Say integrity.